A question for y'all, and you asked Mickey kind of along this lines, but I want to know from you guys, what, if anything, would you reevaluate for the Cowboys during the bye? Because I know for a lot of people, and we just heard it right there, Tony Pollard's usage rate is something folks would reevaluate.
I think, man, that's an interesting approach, because did his usage rate really change that much on Sunday?
Now, a little bit, but you're right, not a lot.
I guess he got him on downs that Zeke would typically get the ball, but the numbers were still pretty much even.
He had 14 carries, which I think tied a career high, I want to say.
I texted you guys in the middle of the game, and I was like, man, I really hope he doesn't get 25 so we can continue to have the argument.
And guess what? Here we are.
I guess it kind of, the one thing that I was really looking at that kind of figured itself out on its own was the use of Deron Bland. Deron Bland is a stud. Okay, this dude is a stud. He was awesome in camp. He outplayed a lot of different guys. And Jordan Lewis injury, which I hate because I thought Jordan Lewis was doing fine in the slot. And I was starting to think maybe Bland could play on the outside a little bit. That kind of kills that momentum for even changing that, because I think now the approach is Bland's your slot corner.
Yep.
Now, trying to figure out, can you put anybody else on the outside? You can't do anything with Kelvin Joseph, dude. I'm sorry. The Cowboys can say he's NFL caliber. They can say
great on special teams.
They can say his part on special teams is important. I get that. You don't get a lot of guys that are committed to that, to playing their role on special teams. But I don't know what I'm going to do with Anthony Brown if they decide they're going to pick on him. Can he win enough of those battles to keep my team in the game? And I think they can. I think they do a pretty good job at it. But they took that section away because injury just played itself out. Figuring out what the defensive line rotation through the end of the season is going to be like, and trying to figure out how to monitor the body of Micah Parsons. I want to use him all the time. We want him to go pressure every single play, right? But we can't. He's going to be worn out by the end of the season into the playoffs if we use him up. And I know.
How do you get that message across to him? Because don't you think he's no chance?
Yeah, and actually I hope we get a chance to talk to him about this, because there's no way in his mind that there's ever a reason to stop. There's ever a reason to slow down. But I got to figure out, when you saw him on the sidelines during the game, what was your thought when you saw him standing on the sidelines? He looked pissed off that he wasn't on the field. My thought was instantly, he must be hurt. And he is achy. He's got bruises and bumps all over the place. But that part of it is kind of what I'm looking at, is my usage of the defensive line, how that rotation's going, and what really is my strong suits going forward here. That's what I think Dan Quinn has a real good job to sit and reevaluate what he can do on the front of his defense.
Now, one of the things that I'm seeing, and that's not particularly surprising to me from the 512, Cowboys need to reevaluate their use of Turpin. Get him on the damn field. And
yes,
you have so
absolutely.
Y'all are in on that sentiment?
Yeah, but I also was curious. Do you guys feel like Turpin is kind of like a Darren Sproles type of player? Could be used in that type of way?
Out of the backfield, I think you can put him anywhere on the field. I really think McCaffrey. McCaffrey's different. But I think you can put him in many different spots on the field and get the ball in his hands and just see what he can do, because he has a different vision. He sees the field differently. He has a different patience. And then once he decides to actually go, the quickness and burst are insane. So
I feel like he's like a big weapon. You get him out there on the field, it's all right, we got to really pay attention to this guy. But when he's not coming out there often, it's they don't have to worry about it. So why not try to incorporate him a little bit more just to create more of a threat?
And I felt like they did that a little bit, Kevin, on Sunday, because he got 2 plays where he got the ball. And I was like, oh, wow, they actually did
That's 100% increase.
Yeah, they still didn't pass the ball to him.
That's right. That's how I'd spin it.
Yeah, they still didn't pass the ball to him, but they were like, hey, we'll do another play for you. And I do want to see him, instead of that sweep, I want to see a time when he goes into a slant or does a hook and turns that into a big play. And now people are like, oh, crap. Because then your safety has to watch out for this guy that could go over the top. Right. And now if that safety's back just a little bit, hesitating just a scotch, this is just like being a pitcher. Now I got the guy off the hitter off balance. He doesn't know what to expect because I threw something he didn't expect. and now I can run that play, and the safety's back. He isn't up on the on Turpin, and he can go for bigger yards.
Well, it also opens up the other guys on your wide receivers.
Yep.
You know, that gives Gallup a chance to get seen. You also got CeeDee Lamb out there too, and Brown as well. You've got plenty of options. So having Turpin do the quick slant, they have to try to cover that, or they got to cover that deep ball.
I think one thing, Kevin, real quick, is the it's a part of trusting him to execute it, because I feel like the Cowboys feel like there can be no wasted plays.
But how can you trust somebody if you haven't given them the opportunity?
Absolutely. And
what a great question that is.
So that's what I really do. I agree that this next couple of weeks here in the bye is a great opportunity to work on some of those things that you might be able to feel like you can trust him on.
If you took Steven at face value on Monday, I would like the Cowboys to specifically work on reevaluating what their offensive line is going to look like. One of the things that Steven said on Monday was we're still 3 or 4 weeks from that happening, so we haven't had those specific conversations. But then he went on to say, but somebody of that caliber, surely you want to use your best 5. Okay. Well, then it sounds like we've begun the conversation. So, like, if they hadn't started it, well, we started it right there. Tyron's one of your best 5. All right. So how's the rest going to look? Do you feel like Steele is locked in? Obviously, Martin is locked in. And then are you going with Biotish? And then you're saying, all right, Tyler Smith is a left guard. Is it as simple as that? Or are you like, well, maybe I'll consider Tyler Smith at right tackle, and then I'll do this. Like, I would like that conversation to take place if it is in fact not taking place.
This is interesting because Michael Young switched positions multiple times, right, for the Rangers.
He was pumped about it.
I don't know that. I don't know.
Say, I mean, let's be honest though. That was not something he was very happy about.
Yeah,
you know, he's trying to be the best at that one position. Now you got to try to get him to go do another one, which I get it.
But he's never played before.
But yeah, you're doing that to
that
hasn't played these positions.
I understand, like, Tyler Smith right now looks really good at tackle, and it's like, why even change anything? And my big concern, Kevin, is Tyron Smith likely comes back and gets injured again, and then you just go back to it, which is okay, I guess. But
do you think
I can't put anybody else at guard and take Tyler Smith off the field.
Do you think
and I can't put Tyron Smith anywhere else on the field either.
And I'm not disagreeing with you on that whatsoever. Do you think they're really honestly having that conversation? Do you think they're like,
every day,
hey, how many games is he going to be back for?
Every day, I think they're having that conversation, and they're checking in to see how he's doing. I think Britt Brown's having, hey, how are you doing? How's rehab coming along? And he's looking at whatever his chart says. It says this is how far away he is from right now. And they're kind of looking at, okay, he'll probably be back at this game. I think that conversation's happening, if not every day, a few times a week. I think they're trying to figure out how they're going to implement him back in. And as well as Tyler's playing, it helps not rush him back from anything too.